pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could you remain standing for our moment of meditation? Moment of silence. Okay, please be seated. Okay, Mr. Rowan, you want me to take this one, or would you like to?
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. Our first agenda item tonight is one that gives me great pleasure, candidly. For 6 years, I had the pleasure of working side by side with one of the best people I've worked with in my career, both in the private sector and in the public sector, and that was former trustee, now Hamilton County Commissioner Dennis Dieters. Dennis was great to work with and embodies all of the assets and qualities that you want to see, in my opinion, in a public official. His temperament was first rate, always, was avoided drawing any lines in the sand, and was always trying to find common ground, and first and foremost, trying to do the right thing for our residents. That was really his main focus, and probably continues to be his focus on a larger scale for the county. So tonight we want to recognize Dennis in his 6 years of service, and we got him a small token of our gratitude. It's a painting of our Memorial Plaza corner, and I hope he accepts it with all of our gratitude for his years of service.
Five minutes. Okay, you can use them. Yeah, turn. Actually, is the mic on?
Should be. There's a button there. I think it's on.
I've never been on this side before. Okay. Actually, at the county, you get 2 minutes. So, Colerain's pretty liberal with their speaking policy, I think. President Ritter, members of the board, Administrator Rowan, members of the administrative team, and the residents of Colerain. It's an honor for me to be here today, but not as much of an honor as it was to serve with the members of this team. I think it's a special place and a special community that has the people that are involved, both the people that I served with when I first got on the board and the people who currently serve in this community, who to a person believe that our residents deserve the best service in government, and that our community deserves to think that we can be a better place. And I will tell you, in government, and my time in government has been limited, I think, and that's probably a good thing, because what we find and what we see is that there's an inclination to want to be safe and to not want to innovate, and to not want to believe that we can take some chances to make our community better. And to a person, and I'll credit Jim Rowan for leading this charge in Colerain Township, to a person, this team that's been assembled understands that that's the mission. And that doesn't mean we don't fail. And that doesn't mean that there's days when you get up and realize that the challenge and the mountain to climb is high. But that also means that we don't quit, and that we understand that our mission and our goal and our focus is to believe in a future for our community. So I appreciate this honor, but frankly, recognizing my service in Colerain, I was standing on the shoulders of giants. And I think that you're all a testament to what good government can be. I know that it's not easy sometimes, and I'll tell the residents of the community that, when you get behind the scenes and you roll up your sleeves and you try to solve problems on a grand scale, when you're talking about millions of dollars of service and taxpayer dollars, it's a tough job. And to a person, I commend you, and I'm honored to have served with you. I hope that I honor your legacy as your Hamilton County Commissioner. And I am still a Colerain Township resident. I'm not going anywhere. I'm raising my family in this community, and I believe that we can be a better place. So thank you for this wonderful picture. I'll hang it in my office. There's no pictures on my walls, so this will be the first one. Thank you.
Next item we have is a recognition of Colerain Ireland Day. And I'll go ahead and read the proclamation that we have. On behalf of the members of the Colerain Township Board of Trustees, it is our pleasure to recognize Colerain Ireland Day as April 21st, 2016. On the occasion of the visit of Mr. Mark Marks of Colerain, Ireland, who is speaking to our fine residents and visitors at a local church in Colerain Township, we recognize Mr. Mark Marks and his hometown, which is the namesake of our community. Mr. John Dunlap, another native of Colerain, Ireland, was the founder of Fort Colerain in 1790, later to be known as Colerain Township. He was a surveyor who saw opportunity in this uninhibited land. This 45 square mile territory, which is now known as Colerain Township, has grown into a vibrant residential and commercial center in Hamilton County, Ohio. Colerain Township is committed to the Founding Fathers' values in our community and strives to maintain the highest level of service to our residents and visitors, just as we believe Mr. Dunlap set out to do many years ago, and Colerain, Ireland chooses to do so today. The Colerain Township Board of Trustees extends their warmest welcome to Mr. Mark Marks of Colerain, Ireland, and thank him for his presence and contribution to our community. It is with great pleasure we make Thursday, the 21st of April in the year 2016, Colerain Ireland Day, in honor of the visit of Mr. Mark Marks of Colerain, Ireland. And if the board could sign our proclamation, we'll give that to him. Mr. Marks isn't here tonight, is he? Yep. No. All right, I think so. It's a long flight. Okay, Ohio Marshal's office is handling this one.
Mr. Cook.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
In January of this year, a building fire incident occurred at the Perkins residence in the Skyline Acres neighborhood. The fire that morning alerted the smoke detectors in that building that morning, alerted the residents of the fire that was occurring within their building. I think you've heard me mention before about our efforts during last fall's canvassing and smoke detector blitz in the community. That morning, the family appropriately reacted to the fire, the operating smoke detectors. They exited the building, did not enter back into the building after the fire, which occurs quite frequently when a fire occurs in a residence, whether it's to retrieve personal items, a pet. But this family exited the building as they were supposed to, resulting in their, what we believe, saved their lives. So as a result of their actions, the fire department nominated the family for the Ohio Fire Marshal's Office Smoke Dog Award. And the Smoke Dog Award stands for Detectors on Guard. And the criteria for which we nominated them were the properly installed, properly operating smoke detectors, the fact that the family reacted properly, that they exited the building, resulted in their lives being saved. Unfortunately, the Perkins family cannot be represented tonight, but we do have Jenny Snyder from the Ohio Fire Marshal's Office to present us with an award that I will later present to the Perkins family. Go ahead.
The Ohio Department of Commerce, Division of State Fire Marshal, is pleased to present this award to Ohioans who have escaped a dangerous fire when warmed by a smoke detector. The Smoke Detector On Guard program encourages the use of smoke detectors as lifesavers. Like a guard dog, a smoke detector stands watch, signaling an alarm when fire threatens. This award honors those with the foresight and responsibility to install smoke detectors for their own protection, as well as for family and friends. And it's presented to the Perkins family.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. It's our plan this year to continue our smoke detector booths program in other neighborhoods of the community. This year we'll be focusing on the neighborhoods that contain the manufactured homes. Historically, manufactured homes are at a little higher risk than normal dwellings. So this year our focus is going to be on the two manufactured home neighborhoods within the community. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's move on to citizens' address. Now we've got a zoning case later on in the agenda, so if you signed in to speak about the zoning case, and I call you now for the general citizens' address, just wave it off, and I'll call you during the zoning case. The first person is Todd Mosher. Zoning case, okay. Bernie Fidelday.
Good evening. I just was kind of following up with the, I've been bringing up about the potential poop we might get from Hamilton County out this way. Have you guys done anything proactive to say, hey, we don't want that?
Bernie, I apologize. I didn't hear what you referred to when you said something from Hamilton County.
Well, what I've said in the last couple of meetings is they have this issue with their, I guess, incinerator down there with their poop.
Yes.
That's what they call it, headlines.
Right.
And I guess my question is to you guys: what have you done proactively, if anything, to say, hey, we don't want it?
Yep. So I know Mr. Rowan's been very close to this issue for us. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, we've actually taken a couple steps. I made some telephone calls to the Hamilton County Administrator. We, as a board, did issue a press release opposing the trucks from coming to Colerain Township.
You have?
We have.
What paper?
We issued it, sent it to, I believe, Jenny Key. So we did issue the press release.
I did do an interview with Fox 19.
Correct.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, indicating
I just
our
didn't see it in the
opposition.
Inquirer, that's all.
Yeah. There was an interview that they aired.
That's cool.
We've also done a public records request of documents from the city of Cincinnati to get a better understanding of the bid process. It is our understanding that the incinerator that does have capacity in Lower Price Hill has capacity, but they've chosen to bring the waste to Rumpke. The city of Cincinnati has, and there was a bid process that went through. So I've asked for the public records to look at, to understand the cost component associated with taking the treated waste here versus to the incinerator in Lower Price Hill. I've not received those records from the city of Cincinnati yet, but we have made our case known that we believe it's more appropriate for that waste to go to Lower Price Hill than to come to Rumpke.
I guess what I would say is, what would we expect from the city of Cincinnati when they're making the decisions where it's going?
I
But
actually
to
asked
send
Jim.
it to us.
But
But to send it to us. And we had an opportunity. Is Mr. Dieter still here? Or did he leave?
I'm right here.
Good. Are you on our side?
Yes.
Okay.
I can address it if you like, or any later.
That would be great, I think.
We can talk.
But and then the other thing that I brought up here last meeting is, and I heard there was some discussion about, possibly I wasn't correct, but the in the Inquirer they had our property values that were kind of in the tank compared to all the other townships in the Hamilton County. There was 900 and some properties that changed hands that are in 15, and the the information came from the Enquirer and the realtors in the area. So I think they're the experts. And the Cincinnati Area Board of Realtors. But I understand there was somebody that challenged that doesn't have really that experience. I guess for me, it's I don't think that's a conversation we don't need to get into. Is it or is it not? Are our property values the lowest in the county, or in the county as far as townships go? I guess the real question is what are we going to do about it? What is the proactive way to try to better that? A lot of it can be through zoning. A lot of it can be through property maintenance. There's a lot of things we can do. Crime's another one, I guess, if there's an issue. I guess for me, it's what are you guys as a board? What are you going to do proactively to try to better that? And I can tell you this: years ago, that we have a property maintenance code, and when that was implemented, the idea was to try to definitely help property values, and that got sideways. It just wasn't being implemented very well over the years. I understand now that we have a police officer that's giving them citations. At least that's my understanding. Is that Jamie? Jamie? Yeah. I mean, there's a good resource. Jamie will do a good job, I think. But and you got some work ahead of you. Is what I'll say. But that needs to come to the top of the list. I mean, we worry about Colerain Avenue and a little stretch of worried about this, that, and the other, which is all good. But don't forget about the other 40 square miles of this township. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Bill Linville.
Well, the main thing I want to talk about is the senior building over here. Gentlemen, when the levy failed, I told you I'd vote for the levy, and I did. I didn't like the way it was written. I think it should be put on in November, worded for the roads. I don't like you make these remarks that you think the senior might be closed. I don't think that's your decision. I go to other centers, and that's what they hit me up with. One of you guys closing. And I say, I don't think we're going to close. When you guys got the why to help us, I was against that. But now you've changed my mind. They're doing a fantastic job up there. They need some work. I don't know if you've asked them people or told them what they need. They need some new flooring. They need a new carpet. They need a new oven. The bottom is rusted out. They need a heat warmer, those things where you put the food to keep it hot when they serve it. And you can get this stuff if you get the right company and we purchase it like we do a car or an air conditioner furnace, get it on a 8 or 10 year, no interest loan, costs us maybe $1,000 a month. And I believe in 5 years that building up there will pay for itself. If you let them handle the money that they make, don't keep taking every dollar. They can have dances, they can have receptions, they can have company meetings, they can do a lot of stuff with that up there. But you guys keep taking all the money. You spend it on junk like recycling cans. To me, you put a recycling can above a senior's. If you were to close that senior place up there, you are locking some of us in our home like a damn animal at the zoo. They can't go anyplace. There's no way to get out. Those little buses pick them up, take them up there, even to the dances. They take them home. So do not close that center. Get it up to par, and you can do it. It's not going to break the bank. Even if you'd have to take $25,000 a year out of the money you get to Rumpke, put it in that senior fund, build it up for them. In 5 years, they'll run theirself. I might not be here to see it, but by God, I believe they can do it. You've let it run down. You're not telling these people what they need. Maybe it's because you got too many jobs. I don't know. I hope that's not the reason. Put a little bit more time. You know all these people, all the CEOs, like all these car dealers. You could have them do something like a promotion. Run in the Northwest paper, the in-car, coupons. When these new cars come out, $25 donated if you'll try one of the new cars, road test it. $100 donated to the senior place if you purchase the car. There's a lot of ways you can make money. K-runs, but these schools have, Colerain. Maybe a football game before the regular season starts. Colerain and Northwest gets together, all the money goes to the senior place. You control the money, but let it stay in that damn fund. So you got a lot of work to do for you, but don't let him convince you closing is one of them. The chief of the fire, you got a good reward from the state. Good job.
So, Mr. Linville, just I got to say a couple thoughts. The first, you can go ahead and be seated. It's Mr. Rowan's job to give the board all the options that it has to avail itself to balance our budget and prioritize resources. He wouldn't be doing his job if he didn't spell out all of the options. I've never heard him once advocate to close the senior center. Never.
It was in the Northwest paper as soon as the election was over, sir.
And
it's said the Clark and the center might have to be closed.
I could recall him saying it could be a risk, but in any case, I'll let him address that one and the other issue you mentioned.
Seniors take it as such, sir. I'm sorry they do. Seniors are a little different from you guys. They hear a word, bang, it's gone.
So yeah, I do have a couple comments. We have worked hard to align our budget so that we're not spending more than we receive. To your point, 100% of the money that comes in that senior center, even the money that's generated off the rentals in the large hall, stay in that building. The general fund no longer contributes to that building other than the money that's generated from the center. So we are not taking any money out of that center. Everything that comes in from the rentals, the charter school, testing facilities, the only thing that we're not taking is the dues money from the seniors is now going to the YMCA. They're managing that, but all of our other revenue generated in that center stays in that center. It is self-sufficient at this point in time. My comments with regards to the possibility of the center closing or parks closing has to do with where ultimately this board will decide their resources need to go. By law, we're required to provide police, fire, and road funding. So we could, as an option, take the money that's being generated off of rental income and put that into streets. That is a priority, a responsibility of government. I'm not saying I advocate for that. I'm saying that's a possibility. We wanted to make sure everybody knew when they voted on issue 3 that there was a possibility that this board decides as part of their 2017 budget that they're going to put every resource in roads, that center is at risk, and that's what I've said.
And issue 3 didn't specify roads, parks, and the center. Okay?
Issue 3 stated that it would protect the center. That $100 and some thousand that we generate in income off the center stays there right now. It doesn't have to stay there. This board could reallocate it. We've chosen to leave it there. But now that we don't have funding for our roads, I would say that that funding is at risk. I'm not advocating or recommending tonight that we close that center because I think it provides tremendous value to our residents. I've always said that. Same with our parks. But ultimately, we have streets to fix, and a priority will have to be made. So I'm just putting it out there as options so people understand that there is a risk with their vote. They can choose to vote down anything they want to vote, but ultimately we have roads to fix. That's a priority.
And you also made a remark, maybe we won't put a levy back on in November.
It's a good possibility
You
we won't.
definitely should put it on, because if Clinton and Trump would have run together, if they were, more people would show up at that place and probably break a record
Sure.
to vote. So you
know-
want more votes.
Right.
How
And
much did you actually pay for those recycling cans?
we didn't pay anything.
It says property of Colerain
That's
Township.
correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Rumpke paid all that cost as part of their bid. So the residents are paying lower costs for garbage and recycling, and they're providing that container at no cost to the township or to the residents.
So it says property of Colerain. I take it when the property, you buy it.
No, the reason we wanted to retain those containers as property so that 5 years from now, if another contractor comes in and gets that contract, we're not sitting out there with 22,000 recyclable containers to do nothing with. This way they stay with the property, and any provider that comes in and provides it, that container stays with the property.
Well, I hope you get with Nor or Dubai, find out what they need, let them know, and let's get that building up to grades. And
Well, I
think you'll
appreciate
win a lot
I
of-
appreciate your feedback, and I will get that list of capital request for the senior center, and I'll make that part of our presentation to the financial advisory committee and ultimately to this board. But once again, they're going to have some difficult decisions. It's my job to make recommendations as to where the funding is going to be, and right now our priority is to put money in roads.
Yeah, but you say roads, but we do other things too. The money that Rumpke gives us, it wouldn't hurt to take a $25,000 at the end of that, put it in running that senior center up there. I mean, you don't have to commit the whole million, whatever it is, $1,500,000, whatever it is, to the roads. You can, like, I would like to say that trustee, and that trustee would split 1/3. He picks a thing that he like to do. Give the employees a raise, maybe. He picks the parks. Get the parks in order. He picks the center. Get the center in order. Use some of their money besides. You don't have to use all that money for the roads. You're not convincing me of that. And then the balance of it, you put it in your general fund or your reserve fund and use it when you need it. That's the way I would do it if I had all that money coming in. Not just to say, roads. What are you going to do? Fix Struble Road in front of them, use a little patch and say, donate it to Rumpke from Colerain Township? No, I don't go for that road stuff. There's other things in this world besides roads.
Mr. Acton.
Good evening, board and other members of the executive committee. Whoever is in the township, I appreciate the bulletin that was put out about Cheviot Road closures. I don't know how many of you got it, but Cheviot Road between Blue Rock and Galbraith Road and Colerain Township will be closing April the 25th and will be closed until May 20th. There will be detour signs put up for you. You know, we talk about transparency all the time. I received an email from our administrator, which I wasn't going to bring up tonight, but I thought, damn, every time I've went to the fax meetings, I've sat there unless I've been asked to speak. He's telling me I can't go. I'm a taxpayer. I want to know where my money's going. Can anybody tell me, without going to a fax meeting, where your money is going?
Yes, I can tell you.
Where?
Going into fire district, police district, that's probably 80% of our budget, and the rest goes into roads, parks, and senior center and administration.
Correct. Percentages, Jeff.
Okay,
I don't want to put you, we'll talk about this later.
you're a lot smarter than me.
No, I'm not. But as I said, I'm a taxpayer. I'd like to see where my money's going.
You can access
I'm
the
asking-
website, you can go to financial statements and find that out.
I'm asking the board tonight, pass a resolution or whatever you have to do, to have the agenda for those facts meetings published on the website.
I believe it already is.
Not the agenda.
Minutes are on there.
The minutes, yes, but we haven't had a meeting since November of last year. So I'd like to see the agenda. Then, when Miss Heather gets time, she can put out the minutes of it.
I don't put out the minutes until they're approved by the committee.
Correct. That's about every 3 months, 4 months, am I correct? Ms. Harlow?
Right, whenever they meet, I mean, they don't, I'm sorry, doing the thing that I tell people not to do and talk without my microphone on. That they meet on they don't have a set schedule that they meet every
No.
3 months.
No.
But they meet, and the meetings are announced as any other public meeting.
You're not.
I'll address it in my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rowan.
Okay. But since Mr. Rowan is now the CEO, CFO, whatever, he calls that meeting whenever he wants to. Road bids. Mr. Rowan, if you could stop the clock for 45 seconds, please.
For what reason?
Because the board was answering me.
Mr. Ritter, would you like me to stop the clock?
For the love of God, just keep going.
No,
Let's get her over with.
no. I'm done. Anybody that's got 4 jobs, I'd like to know who's Superman here. Thank you.
Administrative reports. Where would you like to start, Mr. Rowan?
Well, I'd like to talk about the FAC. As you know, board, I think it was December 2014 when the FAC transitioned from a board committee subject to sunshine law to administrative committee. And in the spirit of maintaining full transparency, we have published those agendas up until this last meeting that we had a few months ago, not back in November. We've had one since, I believe. Or it might have been the November meeting, I'm not sure. Contrary to what Mr. Acton would like for you to say, he is very disruptive. He doesn't wait to be spoken. He speaks when he wants to speak. And I've made the decision, since it's an administrative committee, it's not subject to sunshine law, that I'm going to take advantage of advising the FAC and working with the FAC to formulate recommendations to this board. Now, as a matter of transparency, I personally invite Jenny Key from the media to be there and to report whatever she wishes to. And we also publish the minutes online once they're approved by the FAC. But as long as the FAC is an administrative committee, it's subject to how I want to run the meeting. And if the board desires to have a FAC meeting structured the way it was before as a board committee subject to sunshine law, then that's up to the board, obviously. But when we made the transition to the administrative committee, I decided to leave it public. But in light of Mr. Acton not being able to control his outburst in my meeting, I've chosen to specifically invite who I want, and that's why I've chosen to invite Jenny Key, so that she's there from the media. She can present what's there. Mr. Acton always has access to FAC members if he wants to talk to the FAC members after the case.
I would suggest you sit down. Your time's up. What's next, Jim?
That's all for me.
Sorry. Just like to announce that First Watch and Chick-fil-A both opened up since our last meeting. We'd like to welcome them to the township. They're both really strong national brands, and very excited to have them as part of Colerain Township. And please visit them if you have not already done so. Thanks.
Chiefs.
Just one quick item. Our code enforcement officer spent the week focusing on the beggars and the panhandlers along Colerain Avenue in front of Walmart. This is the second time we've done that this year. We're going to continue to do it throughout the year. But he made 4 arrests. He located a camp behind one of our businesses where several people were living. We relocated them and got them to a place where they could get what they needed as far as food and shelter and things of that nature. But as far as what we can do to stop this, my message to the community has been to stop giving them money. That's what we have to do. Is we want to keep this as a permanent fix to what we're doing. We need to stop feeding them the money and allow us to kind of push them into another community or have them stop completely.
Have we talked to anybody about cutting down some of the trees and bushes along where they're painting the bridge right there?
that was something I brought up before. One of the guys that applied for the trustee position, Raj, he works for the probation department. He can get some free work essentially. So if we can maybe investigate that, that'd be great. Cut down some of those trees. But good job finding the camp and whatever else you said you found.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, trustees report, Mr. Insco.
I'll go last this time. Usually I go first.
That's the board's president's discretion on that, so I'd ask you to go first.
No, I'm going to go last. I always
We
go
are going to
first.
continue with the agenda. That's your choice, Mr. Enderhees.
We've spoken about the heroin epidemic in Colerain over the past couple months, and it's alive and well in Colerain, unfortunately. There were 7 overdoses this past weekend, and, I really commend our police and the QRT, what they've done to combat the heroin epidemic and to try to find solutions to this. Obviously, the QRT has done a great job here. They have helped connect a lot of people with treatment. I believe it's about a 79% connection rate right now. There was a good story about a woman who was arrested, and she was charged with a heroin-related offense. And a lot of times what you see downtown at the Justice Center is these people are processed in, and they're processed right back out. And so they go right back to the street, and they go right back to doing the same things that they were before doing the drugs and committing the crime. There was an officer within the Colerain Police Department who actually came across an individual who had recently been released from the Justice Center that same day, processed in, processed out. It was a routine traffic stop, and during their conversation, she, admitted to being a heroin user, and it just happened to be a Wednesday, and that's the day that the QRT is out, the team is out working. So they actually connected the woman with a treatment provider, and I just think that service is very good for our community. Even if the heroin epidemic has not affected your family or somebody it does affect property values. And another point about property values here in Colerain, the maintenance code is being enforced. I was notified of some code violations out on Templeton Drive. I let Jenna know, and she talked to the code enforcement officer. They went out there that same day and looked at the property, and as far as I know, they issued the notices of violations later that week.
Okay. Frisco, last chance?
I'm going to go after you.
No, you're not. I'm telling you that right now.
I'm telling you right now, we're equals.
And
just
so,
like the residents are equals.
we talked at the last meeting about creating more discipline in the public address and the way we conduct meetings. I'm following your advice. Mr. Solomon, do I have any latitude to have Chief Denny remove Mr. Insco if he doesn't follow the president of the board? Okay. In that case, I just want to commend Mr. Birkenauer and the hard work in getting First Watch to Colerain Township. I had a pleasure of eating there over the weekend. It's a great addition to the retail district in Colerain Avenue. So with that, we'll go on to the public hearing. Mr. Birkenauer, you going to tee that up? Or Jenna? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Ritter. I do have a presentation as soon as my computer cooperates. Sorry.
Jenna, if you could talk closer to the mic, that'd be great.
I will start and wait for my presentation to hopefully catch up. Case ZA 1998-01 is a proposed major modification to a final development plan for a new discount tire store located at 9343 Colerain Avenue. This case was heard before the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission on March 3rd, 2016, with a unanimous vote to recommend approval with conditions. to the Colerain Township Zoning Commission. The Colerain Township Zoning Commission held a public hearing on March 15th, 2016, and recommended approval with conditions in a 5-0 vote. I have what I hope to be a very brief presentation for you on the development plan. This is a proposal to demolish the existing 6,050 square foot Show Me's building and replace it with a 7,300 square foot discount tire retail and service building. The proposal also includes modifications to parking and traffic circulation on the site. This will be a change of use from restaurant to an auto service use. The 5.8 acre development plan is actually split into 3 separate parcels, each with their own final development plan. The parcel that we will be focusing on this evening is highlighted here in yellow. It is 1 acre where the discount tire store would sit. It does have approximately 98 feet of frontage on Colerain Avenue. And it does share access, vehicular access, with all 3 properties in there from the main Big Lots entry. The proposed building would actually be set back, and what you see on the screen here is actually the existing FDP for the Show Me site, and then here is the proposed discount tire location. The building would be set back about 38 feet further from Colerain Avenue than the current building. The proposed building would contain 6 service bays accessed from the south side of the building, and a customer service showroom waiting area, offices, restrooms, and storage. The plan calls for new pavement and landscaping proposed surrounding the building. A trash enclosure is proposed at the rear of the building, and excuse me, the existing stormwater detention basin in the front of the building will be retained. I notified each of you of a slight change in the conditions and variances. If you want to take a look very quickly at the elevation drawings, in front of you are the east and west elevation drawings on the top there. The eastern elevation is what would be facing Colerain Avenue, and then the north and south elevation. As noted earlier before the meeting, there was a typo with respect to the first condition, but I would like to read you these conditions to make sure that we all have them clear. So the Colerain Township Zoning Commission did recommend approval with the following 7 conditions. First condition is that a variance be granted to allow the maximum impervious area to be 77% rather than 75%. Second condition being that a variance be granted to allow for up to 7 additional parking spaces, since the proposed use of the Big Lots building may place additional demand for parking on the development, and parking is shared among the uses on the site. 3, that the wall sign on the north side of the building not exceed 72 square feet, and the wall sign on the Colerain front be reduced in size to not exceed the 60 square feet allowed by section 15.8.2 D1, since the building will be clearly visible from the street and the monument sign will give additional visibility. Number 4, that the existing vegetation along the common property line with the assisted living development be left undisturbed or be enhanced through the planting of evergreen trees. 5, that 2 ornamental lights be installed behind the sidewalk on Colerain, spaced 60 feet apart in accordance with the Colerain Avenue streetscape plan. 6, that ample noise reduction measures be incorporated into the plan as to not disturb the bank and assisted living facility to the south of the property and opposite the service bay doors. And the 7th condition being that a pedestrian walkway shall be installed from the front of the building to the existing public sidewalk on Colerain. In addition to these 7 variances, the Zoning Commission recommends to you 2 variances, first being to table 12-11, that the illumination levels be permitted to exceed the 0.5 foot candles along the northern and western property lines internal to the commercial development. And secondly, to table 14-1, that a minimum 20-foot wide buffer yard shall be permitted adjacent to the PD-R multifamily site to the south, where a 40-foot buffer yard is required, and that a 10-foot wide buffer shall be permitted adjacent to the B-1 portion of the site to the south, where a 30-foot buffer is required. provided that all buffer areas include landscape materials consistent with the zoning resolution. In addition to these 7 conditions and 2 variances, staff would like to note that it appears that the intent of the zoning commission was actually to additionally grant a variance to section 12.11.1C of the zoning resolution, which is a requirement that a customer entry be on the street side of the building. This was discussed in the conversation, but when the official motion was made, this was, I feel, accidentally left out. So staff would like to also recommend that variance number 3 be added to section 12.11.1C1, that a variance be granted from the requirement that each side of the building facing a public street shall include at least 1 customer entrance. That is all.
And here tonight.
I believe he is, yes.
Would you like to make any comments before we open up the public hearing?
My name is Todd Mosier, 1245 East Deal Road, Naperville, Illinois. I'm with R.A. Smith National. We're representing Discount Tire. I guess I would just like to say, we appreciate any support you could give us on this. We don't take any issue at all with the conditions of the staff report and the zoning commission recommendations, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Mr. Ansco?
None. No questions, no. Thank you.
In that case, the chair will make a motion to open up the public hearing.
Second.
Mr. Hayes?
Aye.
Mr. Inslee?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. Mr. Fielder, you were the only one who signed in. Would you like to go first? You did.
Jenna, overall, I'd say you covered bases pretty well. Thank you. There is a couple things I just kind of question. Why would we give a variance for the lighting to exceed 0.5? It says exceed that, but exceed it to what?
That's actually just for the north and, I believe, east
I understand
side of the
that,
property into the
but
central.
to what? Are we going to light it up like a stadium, or?
The zoning commission did not specify an upper limit on that.
Well, somebody needs to do it, or shouldn't be, or the variance shouldn't be there. I mean, I'm just trying to say you can't have something open-ended.
I see your point. There was a lighting plan submitted, so my thought would be that that would be what they are intending to.
But maybe that's not acceptable.
There is no the zoning commission did not set an upper limit on that particular variance.
There has to be something. That's that. And then the when it gets to the buffering, why was that changed? And why did that not follow the zoning code?
The requested variances have to do with the fact that this site is being redeveloped and it is a non-conforming site to begin with. So we're stepping in the right direction, but it's a tight site. It's only a 1 acre site for a development like this. So that is why some of those buffering requests were made.
Okay. There's you call it a monument sign. Is it truly a monument sign, or is it a pole sign? In front.
It's a monument sign.
Ground
sign, yes.
So I would really question 15 foot high.
That's what the code allows. Maximum of 15 foot high
for a monument sign.
Yes.
Well, but the code might allow that. But this is a PD, and I would really think that'd be really out of whack if we're 6-7 foot high for a monument sign along Colerain would be appropriate, I think. I mean, why would just, well, that's what the code allows, but the code allows us some other things that we let them do it. So the PD is we'll give you this and I want this. That's how a PD is supposed to work. It's not all give, give, give. I haven't seen anything in here too much where we get something as the township.
Was the township, we see the site redevelop.
Excuse
An
me?
unused site at this point.
The
So
township,
that is
the
certainly a benefit to the
redevelopment
township
of
to
the
see.
site is to the benefit of the tire discounters. We got 58,000 cars going down the road each day. They got a real benefit for even being here. So we need to start understanding that we offer something really tremendous and capitalize on that. Well, I can tell you, Stone Creek, when I brought that up to developer there about asking him to put a bigger buffer in, and I said, you got 50-some thousand cars a day, and he said, no, it's 58,000. He knew. He understood that. But I don't see us using that, that we have something to offer. And we're always giving on a PD, and yet the idea of the PD is we can do a little something different with our zoning, but you get something in return. And I don't see us getting that. We give them, more lighting. We give them this. We give them a sign. Maybe it's way to a monument sign, 15 feet in front of a building. Come on, that doesn't make sense. Go to Montgomery Road. They're this tall. And if that's what we're trying, a monument sign, that's the idea, not a 15-foot high one. So I would just, since there wasn't nobody, you say the code, but nobody specified it, just like the zoning commission didn't specify the intensity of the lighting. There's some loose ends that need to be dealt with. Do you agree or disagree?
I believe the code does have maximum allowances for lighting, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have that in front of me this evening, but just because the zoning commission in this particular condition didn't put a maximum on it doesn't mean that there's not a maximum within the code.
My point is, though, you're looking at this, everything over here. What are we getting? What are we getting in return? You say, well, we're going to get their site redeveloped. If it wasn't a good deal, they wouldn't be doing it business-wise. I didn't come here to argue with you. I'm just saying there's some loose ends, and you're defensive on that. That's the part I don't understand. Why you'd be defending a monument sign 15 feet. God Almighty, it's as tall as this thing right here. That's not a monument sign. So don't sit here and argue with me about it. It takes away everything I said good about you. Trust me. You did a good job, but you got some loose ends. And maybe I should have attended a zoning meeting, and maybe I'd have got them cleared up, but I didn't do that. I didn't even know about it, to tell you the truth. I'm just making a comment. We're giving up a lot of things. Tell me what we're getting in return. Buffer, lighting, an ungodly monument, ground monument. What do we get in return? I'm done.
Anybody else?
I'm just asking you, what do we get in return?
Trustees will have a chance to talk in a minute. Anybody else in the audience would like to talk either for or against the development?
I give this to Ms. LeCount, please.
And what is it? Okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Aye.
Do we need to keep it going for this document? Or do we need to, is it okay to close it? I don't want to close the hearing if it's still going on.
If this is not about.
Oh, okay. Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rinsko, any comments on the proposal?
Not on the proposal, but with all due respect, no one's going to take away my right to speak, so I'm going to go over my trustee report. Bear with me, it's kind of lengthy.
It's inappropriate for this point of the agenda. Mr. Enderhees, do you have anything to say on the
You're not
development?
taking away someone's right to speak, Jeff.
You can
Mr.
speak
Enderhees, do you mind
all you want
if I
within the confines of an orderly meeting. Mr. Enderhees, do you have
There-
anything to comment on this development?
I'll just say that right now, I think the lot coverage is 80%, and under the proposal here, I think it's 77%. The proposal is 77%.
The maximum is 75% according to code.
Right, but it's coming closer to compliance here, so. Right.
Okay, for my part, I think this is a really exciting development. I think Mr. Fiddleday is discounting the part of the equation that we're redeveloping a vacant lot right now that's consisting of 3 abandoned businesses. So I think that's what we're getting, and I think it's a compelling development, and I'm inclined to support it. The chair will offer a motion to approve.
Second.
The proposal.
Second.
The board is approving resolution number 1516, case number ZA 1999-01, discount tire, approval of a major modification to a final development plan. I'll call the roll. Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
I'm sorry?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Ritter?
Aye. New business, public safety.
Thank you. I have 2 items for the board's action this evening. The first is an acceptance of approval of a donation acceptance. I recommend the board's approval of a donation of 2 LifeStride 9100 treadmills valued at $1,990. These professional treadmills were donated by the Professional Fitness Services Corporation, and these are being put into place at the Colerain Fire Station number 26 to assist our men and women of the fire service in staying healthy and staying fit. And this is a good friend of Paul Jansen and Danita Jansen. And just as as I'm going to ask you to accept this, allow us to take them, but the reality is, I was looking back to understand the depth of this donation. This family or their friends of them have donated approximately $50,000 worth of fitness equipment that's been placed in the service of the township that we just couldn't get anywhere else. So it's been about a 10-year relationship, and we greatly appreciate their thinking of our public servants, and this is another fine donation to get the guys and gals in fit. So I ask the board's approval to accept that.
To that point, he's done so many of these over the years. I hope we're still sending them.
We do. Yes, sir, we do.
Card each time.
Yes.
Great.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Second item is an amendment of the Firefighter 2B program. As we recall, I presented to you back in February the request to suspend the 2B program indefinitely while we allowed the Ohio Police and Fire pension system to review the work hours and what 2,200 hours meant, because it's just for a point of reference for Mr. Ensko and Mr. Enderhees. The board in September of 2014 approved our institution of the 2B firefighter program to allow us to address ACA requirements and provide a health care benefit so we could allow our firefighters to work more hours, more consistency in staffing, more sustainability, and make Colerain Township a more desirable place so they weren't working 3 places. Maybe they would spend more time and work here. In the interim, we learned earlier this year that there was an investigation by the Ohio Department of Ohio Police and Fire pension. They get word and they're concerned about what 2,200 hours means. So we submitted all of our scheduling, all of our documentation since September of 14 through the beginning of this year, through last month basically, and they're in the process of reviewing that. We've suspended, allowed us to move through the measuring period, which was ended April 9th. April 10th started the next year measuring period for our part-time employees. And I'm asking the board, as we look at consistency, sustainability, we were staffed. The board approved a 40-member 2B system in 2014. In December 31 of 2015, we staffed at 36. Since the notice came out, we've lost 6. We're at 30, and we've received notice. We don't have any official documentation, but we've got a couple folks that are, and we're hearing through the grapevine, that are contemplating moving on to another job because of the hours issue. So we're asking the board to consider an amendment to the program from 2,200 to 1,800 hours, allow us to continue to work through. Again, the measuring period started Sunday, It allows us to get a response and determine what the next piece is, but I'm concerned about giving Chief Cook the number of staff to be able to serve our community appropriately with our staffing levels. So ask the board to recommend an amendment to the 2B program, retain all the other conditions with the healthcare as it was, and just reduce the hours from a $2,200 per measuring period to 1,800 hours.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Ensco?
Aye.
Mr. Bitter?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The fire department has 6 items on the agenda for the board to consider, recommendation items for the board to consider tonight. The first one being a recommendation to hire firefighter Richard Williams as a career firefighter paramedic to fill the vacancy created by Captain Dave Pickering. Firefighter Williams is currently employed part-time with the department. The annual salary for his hire, according to the department's memorandum of understanding, is $43,907.76, effective Sunday, April 24th, 2016, with a 1-year probationary period. He has successfully completed all applicable pre-employment evaluations and procedures.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Chair will second.
Before I second it, I got to tell you, Rick's awesome. I know him personally. He's an amazing guy. And part of my trustees report, which we'll get to later, I missed Dave Pickering's party, and I felt bad for that. I called him, and I thanked him for 31 years of service. And he said he called Mr. Salvati afterwards and thanked him because when you switch positions, you see a whole different perspective that he never saw before. So hats off to all of them and for all those years of service. And absolutely, this is an easy eye. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Did Mr. Ensco, did you second?
I
the
seconded
motion?
it.
Oh, Ritter did. Okay, sorry. Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Ensco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Okay, secondly, recommend the board's approval to promote firefighter paramedic Dave Schneeberger to the position of fire lieutenant to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of David Pickering, captain. The annual salary for firefighter Schneeberger's promotion, according to the department's MOU, is $75,170.06, effective Sunday, April 24th, 2016, with a 1-year probationary period. Firefighter Schneeberger was the next candidate following the competitive promotional process conducted during the spring of 2014. The current eligibility list expires this June.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Chair will second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Ensco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Third, request the board give consideration to approving the department to initiate a fire lieutenant promotional process to establish an eligibility list for candidates for future fire company officer vacancies. This process is to ensure that candidates meet the department standards for promotion. Each fire officer rank requires demonstration of certain levels of achievement and duties. The competitive process includes an expense of approximately $2,000 to retain the professional services of the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association for the written exam preparation and administration.
Make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Ensco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Next, request that the board give consideration to approving the department to initiate an assistant fire chief's promotional process to establish a list of qualified candidates for future chief fire officer vacancies. This process will also ensure that candidates meet department standards for promotion. Each chief fire officer requires demonstration of certain levels of achievement and duties. The competitive process is currently being established at this time. We're anticipating a retirement here later this year, and I'd like to put in place a transitional period so that we have a person in place before this person departs the department.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Does not make me happy to call the roll on this. But I certainly wish that person well. Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Ensco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Okay, next, requesting the approval to purchase a replacement shift commander's vehicle. The vehicle that we're recommending purchase is a 2016 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive crew cab pickup truck type vehicle at a cost of $30,500 from the state of Ohio pricing program. In January of this year, Fire Department Vehicle Unit 400, a 1998 Chevrolet Tahoe, was removed from service as a result of repair cost, vehicle value, and its repair history. The vehicle of this type was included as part of the department's 2016 capital budget plan. The recommended vehicle will replace the current utilized vehicle by the shift commanders, are also known as our battalion chiefs, for conducting their daily routine emergency and non-emergency business. This vehicle will serve as the platform from which the battalion chiefs or shift commanders do their daily business. That's on an emergency basis and a non-emergency. Non-emergency, they travel from the stations to station to meet with the station officers, and that's 365 days a year. Emergencies, between the last 2 years, this vehicle made approximately 783 responses on average, and during all this time, the vehicle continues to run, which actually puts additional wear and tear on the vehicle's mechanical and electrical systems. The current vehicle, a 2008 Ford Expedition, will be downgraded and reassigned within the department for continued use. Additional costs associated with this replacement include an aluminum utility cap, which could possibly be retrofitted to any future vehicles, all the warning lights and sirens, installation setup, that type of thing, and a rollout bed tray, which would be a full-length rollout bed tray for the storage of equipment, extra supplies, and firefighting, emergency management incident supplies, that type of thing. So the total cost of the vehicle is not to exceed $54,000.
This is in your appropriations this year?
Yes.
What did you say you're doing with the old vehicle? I didn't catch
We're going to downgrade it and reassign it within the department to either one of the stations or within one of the divisions within the department.
Sounds good. I'll make the motion.
Mr. Dees?
Aye.
Mr. Inscoe?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And lastly, I request the board to consider approval to accept a $20 donation from an anonymous resident for fire department services at an incident on Harry Lee Lane.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Dees?
Aye.
Mr. Inscoe?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Services.
Good evening, Board. I'd like to request action to hire part-time seasonal employees. Recommend hiring the following individuals as part-time seasonal employees at an hourly rate of $11 per hour, not to exceed 1,500 hours per year. The agenda item is to hire the following part-time seasonal employees for public service, park maintenance duties. Please keep in mind, several of these employees may only work once a week or limited hours. The effective date would be immediate, and the work would be on an as-needed basis.
You're going to allocate one of those people to plow the fields for the kids, the ball fields, right? Please say yes. It's on.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I told him, I said, if these fields don't get plowed, I'm going to be out there plowing them myself, and I promise I'm not plowing this field. So, okay, as long as the field's being taken care of, thank you.
Yeah.
Make the motion.
Cheryl, second.
Mr. Dees?
Abstain.
Mr. Inscoe?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zoning.
First item is a request for approval of a final resolution for demolition of the property at 2305 Wilson Avenue. The property was condemned and found to be unsafe by the Hamilton County Planning and Development on November 13th, 2015, and the Colerain Township Fire Department found the property to be structurally unsafe on November 23rd, 2015. A public hearing was held on February 9th of this year, and proper notice was provided to all owners and lien holders of the land via certified mail on February 12th, 2016. Additionally, a legal notice of the demolition was published in the Cincinnati Enquirer on February 16th of this year to notify any owners and or lien holders of their right to request a hearing with respect to the demolition in writing within 30 days. No written notices were received by the township.
Is there a motion to approve? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Dees?
Aye.
Mr. Inscoe?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Here's the resolution for your signature.
Next, we request the approval of a resolution for the waiver of sidewalks along a portion of Harrison Road frontage of the Hunters Ridge subdivision, and to allow a payment in lieu of to be made into the sidewalk fund Fund. This resolution has been recommended to grant a waiver to John Henry Holmes for 290 feet of required sidewalks along Harrison Road at the Hunters Ridge subdivision. The applicant has agreed to make a payment in lieu of these sidewalks in the amount of $6,032 into the Colerain Township Sidewalk Fund.
What's the fund up to now? You know, offhand?
I do not know offhand.
I think we're getting pretty close to 180,000.
Okay.
There's no sidewalks to connect in that area.
There are not, and I can actually show you a very quick image if you want to see underneath. I guess I need to put that there for you. Underneath this red area is where the proposed waiver is requested. You can see the aerial underneath here where they have done the sidewalk on the eastern portion of Hunters Ridge Lane. The request is to not provide this sidewalk, but when this parcel here is developed, this sidewalk will be extended down and it will make the connection so that crossing the street here is appropriate. As far as the property to the west, no, there are no sidewalks.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Before I second the motion, I got to say Bernie got a really good compliment on this. I believe it was from, one of the administrators, forgive me, but all that money got rolled over. Hopefully we can use this for Joseph Road where the sidewalks are. Is that kind of where we're heading with this? Are we allowed to spill the beans on that?
Yeah, we're actually looking into that, working with the county to determine whether the design of the sidewalk's going to fit. There's some property acquisition that needs to happen, but that is a priority for us.
Awesome. That'd be a great location to put some sidewalks in with this money. So sorry Bernie's not here to get this compliment, but nonetheless he earned it. So yes, I'll make the motion.
I think you actually offered the second.
Oh, I offered a second. Forgive me.
Mike made the motion. Okay. Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
We request to set a public hearing for case number ZA 2016-02 on May 10th, 2016 at 6 p.m. The Colerain Township Zoning Commission is expected to make a recommendation on the text amendment request to amend the language for wall signage in commercial districts at their April 19th, 2016 regular meeting. This text amendment item would require a public hearing to be held in front of this Board of Trustees within 30 days of that recommendation.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And lastly, a request to set a public hearing for case number ZA 2016-03 on May 10th, 2016 at 6 p.m. The Colerain Township Zoning Commission is expected to make a recommendation on the zoning map amendment request on the property located at 7967 Wesselman Road at their April 19th, 2016 regular meeting. This map amendment item would require a public hearing to be held in front of this Board of Trustees within 30 days of that recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Ritter, members of the board, my first item is discussion of the 2017 Ohio Township Association Workers' Compensation Program. Historically, we participated in the OTA program through CareWorks. This is the first year that we've actually had another competitor come in and offer a group program for townships. The reason I'm asking for a discussion versus approval tonight is action is not required until May 22nd. So one of the challenges that we have is when you deal with workers' compensation, depending on the number of groups that choose which program determines which groups are going to participate in the rating program. So they have given us a projected rate based on a certain level of participation. If we don't see a mass exodus from the CareWorks program into the comp management program, there's no guarantee we're going to see that type of group savings. So we've contacted some of the area administrators to determine how much interest there is in moving to another program. What's attractive to the comp management program is the fee is $11,000 cheaper than what the CareWorks program is. We also anticipate, since OTA is behind the CareWorks program, that they may get a little more aggressive with driving their fee costs down between now and the May meeting. So I just want a little bit more time to do my due diligence to try to make sure we make the right recommendation to maximize the savings to the township. The next item, I'm really excited, and for those police officers that are here tonight, to recommend approval of the agreement with FOP, Ohio Labor Council, for our police officers. That'll be my first recommendation, and then I'll follow with our sergeants. It was truly a win-win bargaining session. Coming off a collective bargaining agreement where some significant concessions were made in wages and benefits, and to be able to sit across from these guys face to face without involving our attorneys and really have a frank conversation on where we want to go as a township and developing a culture within our public safety department. Our team was phenomenal, both sides, the police reps as well as the administrative reps. And I'm very pleased tonight to recommend a new 3-year contract effective January 1 of 17 through 12/31 of 19. And I put in the agenda the major components of the agreement, which allow for a 2.5% base increase 1/1 of 17, a 2% increase 1/1 of 18, a 2% increase 1/1 of 19. New entry-level salary of $52,000 for an officer. That was one of the concessions we got in the last contract, where we eliminated step increases that drive that cost up to $65,000, $70,000. So we're able to control some of that long-term cost. We do provide some raises there after they've been employed by the township for both 3 and 6 years, respectively. We put some language in there to have a reopener for health insurance premiums exceeds 10%. As we try to manage our health care costs, we thought it was important to have that in there. And then what I'm really excited about is the implementation of a new merit system that's going to allow for an additional 1% raise in merit in 2018 and 2019 based on a set criteria. And there's basically 4 components of merit that they can earn up to 0.25% in each category. And so I'll recommend that for the police officers, but the same applies to our sergeants. There was a little differential made with the sergeant's contract with regards to the differential pay that they receive from a police officer. But once again, for those officers here tonight and for those that were involved, Chief Denny, Director Malloy, it was truly a great session, and I'm looking forward to working with them for the next 3 years, and I think this is a fair contract.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't think you heard it right, you got it right. There is a merit component to a union contract. When Mr. Dieters was up here before, he talked about the culture that we've tried to instill here over the last 4 years of innovation and taking risk and taking a chance on doing things differently. And I think this union contract with our officers and our sergeants is a perfect embodiment of that. For those of us who work in the private sector, we're used to, the way it's done across most businesses in America. There's a merit pool, and what you get every year is a function of your performance and where your salary is as a result is compared to your peers. And I'm just so happy that we're able to instill a little bit of a merit process into the contract, and at the same time give our officers and sergeants a raise, and they deserve it. They deserve it for several reasons. First of all, they put their lives on the line every day for this community. But they've been on a pay freeze for the last several years, and it's a very competitive environment out there for quality officers. All you have to do is look at the headlines. It's very, very difficult to recruit quality officers these days and to have them put up with some of the things they do. And I just want to commend them for their partnership. I mean that sincerely, and I look forward to implementing this new contract in the years ahead. Director Malloy, do you have any comments about this?
No, I thank you for that. It has been a challenging 4 years. It's been there's a lot of work that's been done, but I think the exciting part about the merit piece is we call it an incentive for excellence. We want to reward exceptional behavior, and that has always been the argument with the union contracts is the exceptional employee gets paid the same as the average employer, or maybe even the less than average employee. And we want to incentivize the desire to be better and the desire to be great and give the opportunity for our men and women to be great and then say thank you for it. So I commend the board for belonging to it, Mr. Rowan and the chief and all the men and women from the police department are thinking a little bit differently, as you said, being innovative and challenging ourselves to be great. So, there's an expectation from the community that we push ourselves. This is going to be real evident, so I appreciate it.
And Mr. Rowan, this falls within the constraints of what we modeled in the last levy that passed?
Yes, sir.
The chair will happily offer a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. Does that count for the sergeants too, or do we need a separate vote? Okay. The chair will offer a motion to approve the sergeant's contract as well.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
That concludes my report.
Fiscal officers report.
All right, we have a few things tonight. Let's go ahead and approve the minutes from the actually, let's go ahead and do the February 4th meeting. My apologies. This was a very quick meeting, and I fear that the minutes just were skipped over. So it was the special meeting of February 4th.
I have no changes. Chair will offer a motion to approve.
Mr. Rinsko, would you like to second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And I'll call the roll. Mr. Enderhees, I assume you'll abstain.
Abstain, yes.
And Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
And Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And then we have the regular meetings of, the minutes of the regular meeting of March 8th, our most recent meeting.
No changes.
No changes?
No changes.
Chair will offer a motion to approve March 8th.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
All right. Also, I've received word from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control about two matters, actually three. The first is a request for a transfer from Bar XOs LLC, DBA Bar XOs at 3100 Springdale Road, to Office Club LLC. And I spoke with Chief Denny and Mrs. LeCount about this one, and they said that there is not a need for a public hearing from the Liquor Control at this time. Also, the same also for a transfer from Jawdat Inc., DBA Pit Stop at 2510 West Galbraith Road, the transfer to Aya Inc., DBA Pit Stop. So the same with both of those. So if the board agrees, we'll go ahead and send these back to the Liquor Control Board and indicate that we need not need a public hearing at this time. We do, however, the third item that I mentioned that we received from the Liquor Control is a notice that we receive annually to notify us that all permits to sell alcoholic beverages in our political subdivision will expire on June 1st, 2016. And in order to maintain permit privileges, every permit holder must file a renewal application. So the township, therefore, has the opportunity to register a valid objection to any of the liquor permits in our township, should we desire. So I have emailed this entire bit of information to Mr. Malloy, Chief Denny, and Mrs. LeCount if they feel the need that they want to take a look at any of our establishments and see if we need to register such a complaint. So move on to my regular report. I'd like to ask for your usual approval of payroll, purchase orders, and receipts.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And I think that's it for me tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
You skipped over executive session if
Call the
needed.
roll, please.
I'd like to make a motion for
Call the roll, please.
executive
Mr. Enderhees?
session.
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Nay.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. Have a nice evening.
I'd like to hear what you have to say.